Hi everyone and welcome back to Bali Insiders Podcast. Hey Em.
Hey Carls, how are you?
I am well, excited for today.
Good. I know today we have a very exciting and colourful episode for you, as you can see. We are going to be talking to the creative genius Brie Shinn behind Lokoa The Label, an amazing Bali brand. Not Bali, sorry, global
but produced in Bali.
But produced in Bali fashion label. And her journey from, starting the brand all the way to where it is today.
Which is really prominent in our wardrobes.
Yes.
Hi Brie and welcome to Bali Insiders.
Thanks for having me.
Yay.
Our most colourful episode ever.
Yes, our most
I
our
know.
brightest
Look
set
at
yet.
you, ladies, rocking your Lokoa.
As you just said, we look like Skittles.
We look like Skittles. Taste the rainbow.
Taste the rainbow. That's what we'll call this episode.
Taste the rainbow. Love it.
Love it.
Okay, so we're going to get straight into the fast five.
Yeah.
You ready?
Okay, ready.
Okay.
Got to be fast.
When did you first visit Bali?
1994. So that's almost 30 years ago when I was 11.
Calculate that.
I know, that's a long time. 1994 it was.
What's your favourite area of Bali?
I've got to say Nusa Lembongan is my happy place, if that counts.
Yes,
it does.
It does.
Yes. I think we both use
Yes,
that.
but then I also love the village, it's called Sayan Village, and it's a little bit west of Ubud.
Like where Cyan House is and
Yes,
stuff.
and there's I always stay at Caymanas, and the hospitality, and it's just so beautiful. I go there to recharge and relax, and then I leave feeling rejuvenated.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that in Bali, but then off the mainland, Nusa Lembongan,
Lembongan.
100%.
Amazing. What's your favourite restaurant in Bali?
Where do I start? Okay, first one springs to mind, Bamboo in Petit
Oh,
Tui.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
It's like fine dining Indonesian cuisine, but I'll order everything from the appetizers, and it's all so good.
And it's beautiful space
It's
too.
so nice. I love it. I always take anyone that comes, friends, family, I'm like, we're going there.
We're going to Bamboo.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a little
I've been
taste
there
of
for
Indonesia.
years.
Yeah, still
it's
beautiful.
so good. It never disappoints.
Yeah. What's your favourite local food?
Sucker for a mee goreng.
Oh,
Yes,
still on the
I
mee.
know. And sambal mata on the side.
Oh, my favourite.
Yep.
And what do you love most about Bali?
I had a really good think about this, and I feel Bali, there's something for everyone here. So whether it's, the lifestyle you want to live, all the amazing cafes and restaurants that you want to visit, or experience, but then also the Balinese. Like they're just so beautiful, and, their smiles can just tell 1,000 words.
Yes.
So definitely the Balinese.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the variety.
The
of
variety.
what you can-
The variety.
You can be a meditator, you can be
That's
an
it.
adventurer,
That's
you
what
can
I
be
mean.
a partier.
You can come here and Bali can be what you want to be. You can go and stay in your beautiful 5-star villas, or you can go and stay in the
Little
beach
local
bungalow.
homestay.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
homestays.
Yeah.
That's what I really feel like. But there's something for everyone here. That's what I love.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So now we've got you through your first five.
Oh.
We've warmed you up. So as you can tell by our wardrobes, because it's not supplied by you. In fact, I don't think you even knew we were wearing one.
No, I had no idea.
So you can tell by
my
our
favourite.
wardrobes, and actually by most people who live in Bali will have some Lokoa in their
Oh,
in
it's
their
so
wardrobe,
good. I know. I'm
sure.
definitely seeing a lot more of Lokoa getting around. the shoot.
everywhere and on the Insta. So let's take it back to where it all began for you, and tell the story of, was fashion always in your blood? Was Bali always in your future?
Yep.
How did it come to the point where you have this amazing fashion label where the home is in Bali?
Well, funny enough, I never studied fashion. I, never had anything really to do with fashion. And I, was in the medical industry for so long. Like dad's a doctor, mum was a nurse. That was just kind of what I did. But I always had a creative flair from when I was little. I always wanted to have my own business. And I remember, getting rocks and painting rocks and, making them into an animal or something, then selling them to all the doctors at the medical centre, like, buy my rocks.
Here's your pet rock.
Pet rock or beads or something. And then when I first came to Bali, it was just a family holiday. And then, yeah, a couple years later I returned, and I don't know, I just, as most people do, you get that connection with Bali, and I just kind of became one of those people like, I just want to go back, I want to go back. I mean, obviously I was so young, but yeah, as time went on, and then I think it must have been, I don't know, around 2008 that I decided, you know what, I just really want to design a really cool handbag. And there was nothing in, like, I don't know, around at the time in the market that just really stood out. So I remember just popping into a little leather craftsman, you know,
that you found on the side
found
of
the
the
same
street.
road, I can't remember where it was. I don't know, it was like near the Molasti Beach Hotel or something. Anyway, I remember sitting down with Dottie, and it's funny, I still know him today, and he's just like, wow, Brie, like, wow, look where you've come. But anyway, I sat down and I designed this leather handbag, and it was this cool tote, and I made, like, you know, this stud embellishment out of like a lotus. So yeah, I created that and we designed it together, and I loved it. Took it home, and yeah, everyone went wild for it. So then I thought, wow, you know, like maybe I kind of was taking little special orders as such, but wasn't thinking it, you know, it was going to evolve into anything. So then I came back, and then I thought, well, I'm not just going to do black and tan and whatever. I'm going to do a bright red leather, because you can get so many different kinds of leathers and dye them different colours and whatever. So that's what I did. I did like a collection of the same bag. And I brought it back in like X amount of colours, and within a week, I think I made a little Facebook page.
Yeah, like I was going to say, how did you sell
I think that's what I did, and it was so like amateur, but whatever. And yeah, they just went, and then people all over the place were kind of saying, where do I get one? Where do I get one? I remember being on my lunch break, you know, when I worked at the medical centre in Surfers Paradise, and I'd go into Sports Girl and I'd put it down. People would pick up my bag going, how much is this? Like, no, that's my bag.
Don't take my bag.
So yeah, so anyway, I'm like, okay, all right. And then came back again, started doing more. So the little production line started getting bigger, and then I was designing wallets. And then I reached out to the local markets in Burleigh Heads, the village market. So that's where I kind of kick-started things. So I just had like a little market store.
Well, you were still working full-time.
Well, I was still working full-time, exactly. So I was still working, and it was just kind of like a little hobby. But, you know, I was making some
money. It's an excuse to come back to Bali.
Exactly. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute. Like, and so that's kind of how it evolved. But then what was happening was, you know, I had stockers starting to reach out to me, like, how do we get your brand? Like, how do we get your label? Firstly, I had to come up with a name.
Yeah, because I was going to say, did you even have a name at the beginning?
No. And it's funny. Okay, so at the
Brie's
time...
hand up.
Well, there was Bree's beads. There was like, there's been all kinds of business.
What were the rocks?
Bree's rocks. But yeah, funny story. Well, true story. I used to date a Brazilian, and I was in Brazil. I remember visiting Brazil, and, you know, I really struggled because no one spoke English over there, believe it or not. And I was trying to learn Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese. And I remember when I'd like to have this really exotic story of what the word Lokoa means, but it doesn't.
But it was my aunt.
And it was just, I remember sitting in the back of this taxi, and we're driving through Rio. It is kind of cool. We're driving through Rio and going past all the favelas, you know, the ghettos. And I was just taking in all the sights and thinking, wow, loco, everyone's loco. So if you're a guy, you're loco. If you're a girl, you're loca. And so I just kind of was like, loco. I'm doing my head in because I'm like, no one speaks English. I'm just going to try and work it all out. And then I just came up with this word Lokoa. Lokoa. And so it kind of does have a bit of meaning where it's like crazy, beautiful. And funny enough, that's kind of what my brand represents.
I think it's crazy, beautiful.
Well, it does. Exactly. Doesn't really know what it's doing half the time. Anyway, here we are. So that's how I kind of started. Anyway, but with the name and, you know.
And so the handbags become labelled as
so it was called Lokoa. It was Lokoa Leather.
Right.
So that's how people, you know, that's what my first Facebook page was. That was what my website was. That's what all the stockers were like. Lokoa Leather. Is that a Lokoa Leather handbag? Anyway, so yeah, with that, you know, okay, I need to start creating some cool campaigns and shoots. But wait, what am I going to, like, who, styling? What is the model going to wear?
Yeah.
So then I kind of, you know, started doing some suedes. Remember the suede ponchos and all that?
Yes.
And like real boho.
It was very nicely with
Yeah, it
leather.
was. Yeah, it went well, and they did well. But then it kind of,
So you did start selling them straight away too, not just making them for your photo
yeah,
shoots.
no. Yeah. So yeah, so I you know, just started with a little range like leather jackets and some leather pants and all that kind of thing. But yeah, I think I just wanted to get back to basics. I am actually a very basic dresser every day. If I'm not in Lokoa, I'm in shorts and a pair of, a shirt and a pair of shorts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just started designing some basic pieces.
Yeah.
But I knew it was important to kind of keep the sizing like a one size fits all or one size fits most. You should say.
Yeah.
And you know, and combine sizing. So I didn't have to go from like
because
size 6, 8, 10, 12, blah, 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 blah.
That
So
makes it really complicated.
yeah, and it just, all of a sudden your production.
And it makes it expensive.
It
Yes.
does.
Yeah.
And then you don't know like what you can be, what you think you might need more of. You don't.
You can get yourself in a debt hole.
Exactly.
Very quickly.
Yeah. So everything that I ended up designing, and to this day, I like to incorporate like the elastic so that there is room to give. And like the shirts, like, you know, I'll make sure I've got that extra sense. So
armhole that
you know, so it's that's kind of what happened. So over the years, the leather did really well. I did super well, but then the market changed. And, you know, totally understand. You know, I feel more people will come into Bali, and then
more people could figure out that they could get.
well, people were like, that's
or,
from Bali. That's from Bali. Yeah, you know, I would be sitting on the floor in the factory sweating bullets like for hours every day, going, okay, working with Indonesians and like, okay, this is what, you know, you'd put so much hard work into it and have a beautiful product. I kept it, you know,
really high quality.
Yeah, really high quality. And all of a sudden it just kind of changed. There were more people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, all of a sudden you
I
come to
remember
Bali.
that time where
Change.
that change where there was more people doing
and
the
also,
leathers.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden,
the market
a
stores
lot of
started
those
changing,
independent boutiques that were stocking me were coming over to Bali and doing it themselves.
Yeah.
So then they kind of dropped off, and I don't know. I never really honed in on it, but yes. So I guess it definitely changed, and you know.
And at this point, are you still working full time?
Yeah, so I still was. Actually, I think I wasn't full time. I went back to just being kind of casual part time. I was doing a lot more night shifts.
Yeah.
So I worked in like accident emergency, and then like the day and night medical centres.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of just, once I knew it was growing, I just ended up going, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
I actually like it.
Focus on.
And I'm like, I'm going back to Bali. See ya. So it did. It gave me the financial freedom, I guess. Like, wasn't making huge amounts of money, but was
enough to
doing really
live,
well. And the local market scene, like, that would only be one market a month. But then, you know, it ended up being every fortnight. So yeah, it was good. It was great little injection for income, and and I stepped away. Like, I didn't really care to be in the medical industry at all. Like,
it was not.
I'm not following anyone's footsteps. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Mum.
Sorry, Dad.
No, but I know, as always, when I was little, I really did have that creative flair. It was always in me. Like, my dad was an artist as well as a doctor, as well as a law professor. So he kind of had a lot going on. And I just
wanted to go with it.
Yeah, and just, you know, I didn't go to TAFE, I didn't go to uni, I didn't study anything. I've just
studied on the floor of that.
That's
floor.
right.
The
And
most valuable study
I just work
ever.
it out as I go. I just wing it.
So you've left the medical industry. You kind of, by that stage, living between the two countries.
Yes. So I'd come over here, and I reckon I'd spend, you know, a month to 2 months. Usually 2 months at a time, then go back. And then I was definitely not living here permanently, but spending a lot more of my year here than back home on the Gold Coast. So,
and where were you selling then? Online or
So then I ended up getting a website developer, and I knew that it was kind of what I wanted to do was beyond what I could really achieve. So and I invested in, you know, getting a pretty nice website together. And then it just kind of took over itself. So this is going back, like, I mean, I think I've had Lokoa for around 13 years now.
Yeah, and back then that's really quite early to be in the e-commerce space.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Now it's all so much easier with drop shipping or Amazon or different mailing services and stuff like that. But back then that would have been a lot.
And where were you keeping everything? So like you're obviously having everything manufactured here.
Good old garage.
Yeah, the old garage.
Good old garage.
Yep.
It wasn't even a spare room. But then once things kind of got bigger, I was like, okay, I'm just going to move them up into this room now. And it was just one of the spare rooms that I was in. My little unit was just overflowing with stock and boxes and whatever.
And you're doing your own little mail out.
Yeah, I pick and pack. I am all of it.
Yeah.
And actually to this day, well, not so much now that I'm based back here in Bali, but right up until moving back here, I still did it all.
Doing all the picking and packing.
I have my team back home back then, but now because I am, on the scale of where I'm at and the orders and whatever that are going out, I've enlisted a 3PL. Yeah. So anyone that orders online, it's all integrated with a third-party logistics company.
Yeah.
So they are my pick and packers.
Yeah.
And they carry
You
like
have
a lot
to.
of but honestly, it has been life-changing because
of course, because
amidst all that, I had 2 children. So it's like, hang on a minute, I can't be up every day till midnight.
Had other life.
You've got them
You've
on
got to
the
keep
floor.
the wheels in motion. Can you just, actually, I probably could share some pretty funny videos of the kids just covered in stock.
Covered in got all the Lokoa on.
Yeah.
So so obviously now I guess you're more famous for the clothing and the gorgeous sets and the linen. Where did that turn happen?
Okay, so it's funny. I feel probably just prior to COVID, it's funny. Okay, so do you know the Tulum top that I do? That linen one with the scoop back and then the cocoa shorts. That's what I know Lokoa is most definitely known for.
Yeah.
And I was saying to you ladies earlier how, a lot of customers come to me and go, oh my God, I have that set in 20 different colors.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I actually had designed that years ago, but it never really took off.
Yeah.
It was just, I loved it, but it didn't really catch anyone's eye. And then I really feel a big turning point for me with my business, especially was COVID.
Yeah.
And I know obviously it was such a hard time for so many people and small businesses and everything, but I guess, when you took away all the travel, you're staying at home, you still got to do something.
Time.
Let's go shopping online for that time when we come out of this, which is only going to last 2 months, right?
Yeah,
or 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, come on. We'll be in Bali in like 6 months.
Yeah, we'll be back.
We'll be back. So, for me, that was, I feel, a big turning point. And I was still working on all my designs and collections, and I never know when to stop with colours because I love creating things that no one else has. And I don't follow trends of other brands. I really don't. That's honest to the truth. I don't look at what so-and-so is doing or so. I just go with what I love.
like that.
And I'm like, oh my God. And it would just pop, oh my God, that will be those 2 colours will be so nice together or that. And then and that's just how it happens.
Yeah.
And then I just create it. And I have an amazing team. I've got my own production house here. Yeah. So I've been working closely with my team now for I'd say 12 years.
Yeah.
And
so even during COVID, you were sending your designs back.
So all of a sudden, everyone's freaking out, like not know what to do. And I was actually here in once the world changed and we all kind of evacuated, didn't we? Well, I wish I didn't, but I did.
I stayed.
I know.
Oh, did you stay? See, I was 6 months pregnant. I'm like, what am I doing?
Same.
Am I having a baby?
I was nearly 9 months pregnant.
Yeah, well, I was 6 months.
Yes.
So I'm like,
we had this
it's funny because my dad, who's the doctor, he's like, if I were you, stay in Bali. You're going to have more support there. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing?
Supposed to be telling me to go
Yeah. He's like, serious, don't come back here. And it was like everything he said actually unfolded. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, you're sure, Dad.
But then it was just, obviously that's just another story. But back to the whole, when COVID happened, business just kind of erupted because people were at home and they were shopping.
It was a big growth time.
Yeah, it was. But I've also have, I call him my guardian angel, really. He looks after my Jake back home. He looks after all my marketing and he's almost like my financial planner. He gives me all my sales targets for the month. Like he's just helped so much because I think I have so much going on in my brain every day. He's like, okay, Brie,
business
this is what we're going to do.
Did you come up with a plan during COVID? Obviously you were still designing and creating.
And I had a newborn.
And you had a newborn.
Yep.
But did you come up with a plan to grow? Because sometimes the COVID kind of time gave you a bit of space to focus on other things.
Yes. Yeah.
Because there wasn't the chaos in a lot of ways, apart from having the newborn.
Yeah, I know.
But because that is when I feel like I first really saw the brand and like
really?
Yeah, I remember being stuck back in Melbourne in COVID.
You're in Melbourne locked
with
in.
newborns
Yes.
and scrolling and going,
God.
oh my God, these are beautiful. Like this is what I want to wear in Bali when I go back.
It's funny.
Did you push the brand more from a marketing perspective during that time?
Yeah, and that's what I'd have to say what is really important these days.
Yes.
You know, rewind back to the days where you just create a Facebook page and hope people liked it, and then you go, can I?
And you turn up at the market.
Cash only or whatever, whatever. Anyway, but I've worked alongside my marketing team, and it's crucial these days to really have that marketing plan in place, and that being, sponsored posts. Sadly, you need to be paid to be seen.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand all the algorithms, and I'm hopeless half the time even posting on Lokoa.
Yeah.
So, I do the best that I can, but it does make a huge difference. And during COVID, we really honed in on that.
Yeah.
Like the whole
Getting
let's
in
get
front
some
of people's
sponsored
spaces,
posts done. Let's, Google ads, all of that kind of thing. And I freaked out because I'm like, are we really spending that much a day?
Shouldn't we be saving?
Shouldn't we be saving?
Yeah.
But again, I guess we were very lucky, with the government providing the job keeper. That kind of helped keep peace of mind. Like, everything's going to be okay. If all else fails,
we've got enough money to
survive. Because it's just but that's it. When you're running an online business and the whole world's kind of stopped, no one knows what's happening, you freak out. And then remember's like, okay, everyone, you can take your superannuation. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, and then they start buying their outfits.
Yeah. Thanks,
nothing else to do.
No,
I
know. But, the other thing that was important for me was I know a lot of people know Lokoa too for having my amazing flash sales.
Yeah.
And, today, that's how I've kind of built my brand. Not to be on sale all the time, but I've really established, I'll release my collections and whatever, and I still keep it affordable, but I love to look after my customers because nothing makes me more happy or more prouder when I see you ladies and everyone there's Lokoa. It's so funny. I've been in the most random places.
And you see it pop up.
Lokoa. Lokoa. And sometimes I'm like, excuse me, I like what you're wearing.
Do you say that? You'd just be like,
or you're scrolling through Instagram and you're like,
it's so nice.
Yeah.
So, I feel looking after your customers is super important. So obviously getting your brand out there, you do have to, it comes at a cost.
Yeah.
And that comes down to marketing, having an amazing marketing strategy.
Having amazing content.
Yes. That's what I was about to say. I really put a lot into the campaigns that I do. For this collection, I actually shot it in two locations. So I did the first injection in Lombok.
Yep.
With Kira Mason. She's amazing.
Oh, I love Kira.
Yeah, she's so good. So she took the team over. I couldn't go because I had 2 kids in tow. I'm like, this would be a disaster.
You take the clothes.
You guys go.
I'm not
You
going to
just
be
send me
helpful.
BTS and I'll be happy with that. And it turned out so gorgeous. But then I've got my amazing team back in Australia too. So Anna, she's been taking amazing pics for me too. And so
then you shot in Australia.
So then I shot in Australia at this really cool location. And it was a house, and it was called Palazzo Sophie or something.
Wow.
It was full Europe vibes.
Yeah.
Like you can see it in some of the pictures.
Yeah.
And it was out in Wuyang, which is a little beachside town in North New South Wales. But
it was on the Amalfi Coast.
Seriously, Capri, that's right. But all my shoots, I'm so happy, and I'm not a fussy person, believe it or not. Like I'll I don't pick things apart.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Like that.
Well,
like
I guess
that.
you've got such a vision
Yeah.
that and you're visual and creative. So
Yeah.
when you see it, you just know.
Yeah.
You're like, yep, that's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You either like it or you don't.
That's it. And
Yeah.
that's too, when I'm working with my textile designer, creating all my prints, very rarely are we going back and forth, going fix this, change this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like nailed it.
Yeah.
So
I think that's part of the skill of you have to be very decisive like that. That it's
Yes,
not like,
yes.
Because in fashion, especially, you can get so caught up in like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe we should.
yeah. Procrastination too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at that actually. I know, it's so important. You've got to be organised.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I like to think I am, but then sometimes I'm like,
It's hard to be creative and super
Yeah,
organised.
yes,
It's hard to have both those brains on at the same time.
Yeah.
And so when did the physical stores come on the scene?
Okay, yeah. So funny enough, for years I've always had a lot of big online presence, and they've always said, like, do you have a shop in Bali? Do you have a shop in Bali? I'm like, no, I'm online, and here's a list of the stockers throughout Australia, and not only Australia, like worldwide.
Yep. So you're open to wholesale.
Yeah,
everywhere
open to
and-
wholesale.
Yeah.
I've got international stockists and everything, but I mean, I guess I always knew I was coming back to Bali.
Yeah.
Once I had the kids. So yeah, COVID happened. Ended up coming back 2 years later with 2 children. Oh my God. And I just it was in my mind. I actually didn't really care if I didn't, but then there was a couple of things that were presented to me. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe now's the time to bite the bullet. You're here, Brie. Like,
Yeah.
how hard can it be?
Famous Bali words.
I can do this.
Bali Insiders podcast is proudly sponsored by Lighthouse Studios right here in Bali.
This space has been specifically designed for entrepreneurs, podcasters, coaches, and educators of all kinds. You can record podcasts just like ours, as well as masterclasses, social media content, and so much more.
They have awesome customizable studios to choose from, and most importantly, they take care of absolutely everything. The cameras, the microphones, the lights, even if you wish, the editing. They make it so easy.
And as well as the studios, they have a co-working cafe and some of the best food and coffee on the island of Bali. We highly recommend that you come in for a tour and have a chat about how you can create your own epic video and audio content.
You can visit them on Instagram at Lighthouse Studios Bali or jump on their website, wearelight.house.
Anyway, so I came across a really cool little shop front, and it's funny. It was Josh, his little
Holly and
Josh,
who
his
we've
little
had on the
yakitori
episode
bar.
before. Oh,
That was it.
That
So
was
where
his,
the flagship store is in he's like, that was where I used to sell yakitori.
Yeah, during COVID, we were at that yakitori bar all the time.
And he showed me all pictures. I'm like, no way. He goes, don't wreck it, Brie. Don't wreck it. I'm like, gut it.
It's gone.
I ended up, coming. Yeah, I got a architect and a construction company and whatever, and came up with what I wanted, and so that was for the Brawa store. But another girlfriend of mine who lives here, who's also got her own label, Banks Basics.
Yep.
She had come to me and it's like, Brie, there's a space that's, these new shops that have been built in Batu Belong. How would you feel? Do you want to go in on it? I'm like, really? I've just literally signed off on one in Brawa.
Yeah.
But then I thought, you know what? Why not? Let's put our toes in over there
because
too.
they're pretty much like two separate areas.
Well, that's it.
Now. Yeah.
I really do feel that. You're on one side of the shortcut and you're on the other side of the shortcut. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do it.
Yeah.
So we went with that. So the Batu Belong store kind of had the wheels in motion a lot quicker because they were already constructing things. And we kind of just went with, the Toucan and stuff who were on site there.
Yep. Toucan being the
local workers, the builders. Yeah. So things were made, and it was all done, really quickly and really nicely.
because that was the first one that opened.
Yeah, that's right. We
Yeah.
had hoped to open in December, but it was a funny time. Hayley's son got sick, so she had to go back to Australia urgently. And I said, look, you know what? It'll open when it opens. So I think we didn't end up opening until February, the 1st of Feb.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful store. We came across some challenges with that.
Yeah. So you design, like obviously you had the architects and things like that, but you design, because the stores are beautiful and they're such a, they
really nice.
really represent
the
brand.
Yeah,
absolutely. You feel like you're walking into quite an experience.
Yeah,
like I
that's
always
exactly
love going
right.
in. Yeah.
Hayley and I, we both had super fun with doing the store. So it's Banks Basics and Lokoa The Label.
Yeah.
But I had already had all my plans drawn up for the Brawa store too.
Yes.
So I wanted to keep it real soft and curvy and wobbles and
Yeah.
cool mirrors and all that, and really stick to the brand's aesthetic, you know, because I am very loud and I am very out there.
Yeah.
It did take a bit longer because it was a full reno job of this old, you know, place. So it did take a lot longer. So I remember opening the Brawa store. It was Easter Saturday. I remember it was Easter Saturday, which doesn't mean much to anyone here in Bali, but for us, you know, it's
Usually
like,
lots of tourists
come
around,
on,
right?
guys, come in. I think Holly was my first.
She was, because I remember seeing her posting it
love
and I
you,
was like,
Holly.
there's another one? Yeah. There's another store and it's like 2
Yes.
minutes from my house because I live on that road. So I was like, yay.
So the Brawa store is my flagship store and I love it. It's so beautiful and I've had so much amazing feedback. And it's funny, like a lot of the time now, I've got so many people writing to me saying, like, I'm coming to Bali, like, can I buy online and then pick it up in Bali? But obviously we're separate.
Yes.
So my online store's an Australian company.
So all your online stock is sitting in
Australia. Yes, with
Yeah.
3PL.
Yeah.
But it's fun because I do exclusive pieces here that you can't actually buy online.
Yeah, of course.
So
which
you
is
can go
nice,
into the stores and pick up things that you can't get online. And people are
Yeah.
like, and then it's funny, I just posted a photo this morning and of my friend who'd gone and, you know, done a cool selfie in the mirror, in the cool mirror. And I've had so many people going, where's that? I can't get it. I can't find it.
Yeah, and you're like, no, you have to come to Bali for that.
Amazing.
The stores were fun, but you know, you run into all your challenges.
Well, it's a completely different
and just
completely different kettle of fish than when you're going shop front.
And not the same expertise. Like you've refined like what you do with the manufacturing and the clothing and stuff over the years, and now you know what you're doing.
Now. Like
now you're into like building.
Now you're dealing with leaking roofs or
That's
with
exactly right. And cracks and like, you know, LED lights. And I don't even know what half this stuff is. But look, it all came together and it was beautiful. So
and it is beautiful.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the But to Belong store, but I normally go to the Brawa store.
Oh, do you? Yes.
Because I live over in Sanur, so it's easier to get to the Brawa.
Yep.
It's easy to get to the Brawa store.
But now that I've got the 2 stores, and, you know, we actually don't have any storage at Brawa store because I've made sure I've filled every space, like merchandise. I just really wanted it to be merchandise. I didn't want any space to go
to sunglasses in there.
So I stock a few other Australian labels, which a lot of our local expats have come to love. So obviously having the 2 shops and, you know, it being busy as it is, I've had to create like a headquarters as such. So you know, for the past year we've kind of had all the stock just being delivered to where I live, and you know, we're all on the floor barcoding and whatever. I'm like, can't do this forever, guys. So I've just finished building Lokoa HQ, which is in between
the 2 of them.
So it's where the local market is. The local that just burnt down, but it's back again. So it's in between Pantai
Reyes Samat.
Reyes Samat. There you go.
Amazing.
So that's where I am there. So that's kind of going to be home base for where I am able to kind of leave home and put myself in my office and be like, no interruptions from the kids.
This is where I'm going to.
And it's actually beautiful too. Wait till you see
Oh my gosh,
it.
I'm going to come
But
in.
you can't shop from there.
No, but I'm thinking like I could even do it as a showroom, and we could do some fun things out the front because I've got a massive big courtyard. So we
maybe
can do
that's the place to have your sales.
Yeah, that's
like
what I was
maybe
thinking.
have your sales there.
Like little pop-ups, and it's
Cute.
real tropical, and it's so fun.
Sample sales. We should do sample sales there.
Yes. Wait till you see it, ladies. You're going to want to
we
move
need
it.
We need first invites.
First invites. We'll do a little champagne night, champagne nibbles.
Now, what about, so, you know, people are going to be looking on and going, oh my God, I want to do a brand in Bali. And But it is really, it's not as easy as, like, it's great when you see people come through it and be successful like you. But there are a lot of challenges along the way. So what are some of the biggest challenges you've come across through this journey?
Look, obviously working alongside Indonesians too, and, you know, all the religious holidays, that's a biggie. Yeah. So, you know, you might have this whole, like, here's my whole collection that I've designed, go ahead, let's make it and have it finished on this day. Guaranteed that will never happen.
Deadlines, not a thing.
But not only that too, all of my fabrics are screen printed, so I don't do any digital printing. And the reason why is, I don't know, like I feel the digital printing is the quality in the fabric's not as nice, you know. You've got, So with the screen printing comes, obviously you've got to get those Pantone colours right. And you might like get your sample and like, yep, perfect. Then you put it into production and it is completely different and wrong. Like, no!
That's not
and I've what is this? And you can't just go back and re-dye it. So then it's all right off stock, you know?
Yeah.
So then you've basically got to start again. So then you've got all this time that's been wasted and then let's go again and let's hope you guys get it. So you know what? It doesn't matter how many collections, I run into this
all the time.
every time.
Yeah.
And then, obviously you really need to think ahead because of the religious holidays that they have. You know, majority of my workers are Javanese. So, you know, come the month of Ramadan, they're fasting. So a lot of them, you know, have no energy and
To work.
Yeah. They are.
Yeah.
They're lethargic, basically.
Yeah.
And they're, you know, they're quite strict on, you know, doing their fasting and everything. But then but they are still working and they know that they want to finish it because they know that then they go home to Java or whatever.
They do go home for a
Eid
long
al-Fitr,
time.
So Eid al-Fitr comes around. It's like kind of like what you would compare our Christmas holidays, right? Like our Christmas New Year break.
Yeah. So Australia basically closes down for a month.
Yeah, that's
same
exactly
thing
right.
here.
Same thing here. You notice, like there's a lot of restaurants, local warungs that are closed. They've all gone back to Java, whatever. But that 2-week holiday might turn into a 4-week holiday, might turn into, all those guys aren't coming back.
Yeah.
So then you've got...
They went home to the village and they don't want to come back.
We're not finished. So then you've got new workers, but then you've got to go, okay.
Retrain.
This is just so many things. So they are ongoing challenges that it happens all the time.
Yeah, so and no really resolving that.
No, and no matter how much I try to, you know, say, come on guys, like now it's like right this point in time.
Now we need to hustle.
Yeah, this point in time, this time of year now is the lead up to my busiest. You know, you've got the whole Black Friday, Cyber Monday, then Boxing Day. Like you need as much inventory ready. And I'm in the process of designing the next collection. So, you know, I've got to whip all of that up and put all of that together.
So planning and making sure you're aware of what. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not probably going to China and just being like, here's my stuff. This is what I want. This will be delivered by this date.
And they work around like what work. It is different. You know, you've got to remember we're on an island, you know, Bali is still an island and they've only got so much manpower. And, you know, I'm never going to be one to crack a whip or anything. I'm just not that person. And as frustrated as you can get with these challenges, you know, you've got to just go with it. Patience.
From a monetary perspective though, because I did do a fashion label for a while myself and quickly found that was not my expertise. But from the business monetary perspective, as you grow and get more popular, then actually you've got to invest in more stock. Like
capital.
It's a business that takes a lot longer to become really profitable.
100%. And that a lot of time small businesses struggle with is having the capital. You know, and God knows how I've come through, like I've gone through so many ups and downs, you know, like there's been times I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. I don't even like my brand. You know, like I'm not wearing it. No. And like one of my best friends, Hara, she's like, babe, you should wear that dress like it's Lokoa. I'm not wearing Lokoa, no way. I've gone through all of it and over a decade, like just ups and downs. And there's been struggling times because you don't know what you're going to earn every day, every week, every month.
No stable protection.
Well, and it's like any job, you know, like it's obviously your business, but like if you get to a point with that in a normal job, you'd probably leave and go
Yeah.
and find something else.
Yeah.
But because it's yours and
Your
it's your
baby.
business, you're
I've gotta keep
and it is
going.
hard.
It is hard. Like, it's hard to let go of the reins sometimes when it is your own baby because, you know, I probably still do a lot of micromanaging in things that I don't need to do. And especially now that I have 2 children, like one's 3 and one's 1, like I really have only limited time. So I have employed an operations manager here. I've got my great team of staff, the girls in the store and whatever. I'm lucky back home in Australia. I've got the guys, logistics, they're all good. But yeah, you know, there's a lot that I probably shouldn't do, but because it's your baby, like I'm not going to say, excuse me, can you just go and design me? Like I am doing that and I will always do that. But even orders, you know, like I don't, I'll go back and look at my bestsellers and do that restock and whatever, but I've also like to be in control of knowing what, you know, I'm not just going to go, okay, let's just hand it all over. Yeah, you know, because no one knows your business better than you do. And that's the bottom line, really, isn't it? So
and you start to hand things over too much, and it loses the soul of what it is. Like this business is you. Like your personality is the clothes.
Look, and I've got to say, I've found too, like obviously pre-COVID, the third-party logistics guys. You know, and I was that pink. There was always that special touch coming from me, and people knew that and loved it. I'd put my little thank you notes and whatever.
But little candy.
Have a Milko.
Scent, a bit of scent.
Exactly. Spray, all that.
Glitter.
But, you know, obviously now, that personal touch isn't there when people are receiving
it. Any business.
It is.
To grow.
We'll scale and
and it's just the way it is. But I just it's funny.
I think that's one of the hardest things of being an entrepreneur is when your brand becomes successful and it grows. And I always remember this leadership thing I went to saying, you know, outsourcing, you need to outsource some of the things because you need to concentrate on the business development. But they said, you know, your hardest time as an entrepreneur will be outsourcing the things that you're best at.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And so for you, if it ever comes to the point of bringing on another designer to work with
I know. I just don't know.
Like just cuts deep,
I know I could probably be there, but like I just don't want to.
Because I'm ready. You're not ready to do it yet.
You can see when brands do that.
Yep.
You can see the change.
You can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's some huge brands that
but
I'm
brands
like, I don't even look at
anymore.
anymore.
On to be very successful.
They do.
It's just it's part of the growth. It's part of the, I think it's harder for you than even your clients.
And I think too, because I live here, all my production's done here, I am very, very hands-on. And so, I think, when you let go, how am I trying to say it? I find it really difficult to let go of things.
Yeah, of course. It's your
like
baby.
I'm still doing customer service. I'm still writing back to every person saying, when does my pre-order arrive? Like, hi guys. And I'll sign off as Brie and they're like, oh my God, it's you, Brie. It's just me.
Or you're still on the DM like,
DM. Like, I'm so sorry, guys. Like, I've just got a bit on it. You know, it is still very personal, but I know I probably, you know, Jake's like, Brie, you should not be that person anymore. You don't need to be doing that. I'm like, it's okay. It's probably quicker if I just do it anyway.
Well,
you know.
Sometimes that's the old answer, isn't it? It's just quicker if I do it.
But honestly, time just goes so in my head, I'm like, employing someone. Yeah, I'll employ someone to do that. But I still have just a small team. We get by it, we do it, you know.
And that way you can still keep your hand very much in it.
Yeah.
So if we've got people watching, what's the best advice? What's the best advice you'd give someone who wanted to start their own brand, whether it be fashion, jewelry,
leather bags?
Look, here in Bali?
Yeah, in Bali.
Because I wouldn't be able to help you. I don't know how the whole China system works, so I've never done anything done it.
Dipped into that.
Yeah. For Bali, if you are wanting to start a brand, create a label, it's so important to do the groundwork yourself. Yes, reach out to others that, you know, have done it, but also be mindful of what you do ask because, you know, like I've spent so many years mastering what I've done and keeping my people close and whatever, and you need to be here. You can probably do it via a WhatsApp conversation and hope for the best that you could, but it makes a huge difference in being here, sourcing it yourself, finding those people, find the people you connect with, because you could find someone that's so good and they're so good, but they might have 500 other clients, or
you can't communicate well.
You can't communicate. You know, you've got to remember the language breakdown. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm lucky that I, you know, am able to speak Indonesian and can communicate that way. You know, not fluently, but enough for me to understand and get by. Whereas if you are coming here, you know, not necessarily for the first time, but that is a huge thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's important. Yeah, reach out to those. I'm happy to give advice, but I'm not going to give away
your suppliers.
Suppliers and your business.
And
nobody will do that.
It's
if they're
just
clever.
you don't understand how hard I've worked. And I know I'm not the first person to say that. You know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would be polite and not say that, but I'm just going to say it.
But you have to go and find it. You have to go and find. If you're going to do fabric,
fabric.
Find who your supplier
is. Get deep in
is.
Denpasar.
Yes.
Go to Jalan Sulawesi.
Yes.
Scour through every shop. I've been there.
Go
I've
and
done
visit
it.
the screen printing factory.
Yes. I've done it. I've did it all for years too, and I'm just lucky now that, you know, my team, we've got what we do. We've got our...
Not really lucky. You put in the hard
Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, I've worked so hard to achieve what I have and create what I've created.
And build those relationships with those
suppliers.
suppliers.
Build those relationships, because at the end of the day, you are coming into their country, you know, and you can be all bossy and stuff, but it's not going to help.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't. And, you know, be kind, be respectful, and, you know, be grateful that, you know, you've got someone willing to go, okay, we can do this together.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And I know so many brands, some amazing labels that still are out of here that have just done so well. But they've done all the hard yards themselves. So anyone wanting to come to Bali and build that brand, do it. Anything's possible here. Anything is possible.
But come and spend the time.
But spend the time. And don't think you can achieve it in a 10-day holiday. It's impossible. You've got to allow the time.
And don't think you can just take everybody's suppliers.
That
goes across all industries though.
Well, that's exactly right.
Like, I have friends, we all have friends here, like developing or you know, even with our business and probably yours, Carl's, like, you know, people message all the time just wanting all your
who's your videographer?
Who's
this?
Who's your builder?
You know what? It's really not hard to find your own. Like, you know, there's so much out there for you to scroll and find and tag and save and whatever. And then, you know, I'm not saying work it out for yourself, but kind of work it out.
Yeah, but it's very different from when we all started, when there wasn't that access at all. You literally had to come and get on a bike and ride around and find people.
But you know what? To a point, you still do. You know,
and
especially if you are starting out. You know, I know that there's some big companies here that will do it all for you, but then be prepared that it comes at a cost. And those companies might charge you in US dollars, you know, but you're in a country that works off rupiah. You know, like, I'm really lucky too, where, you know, with, I guess, comparing myself to China as such, like, I don't have to have those MOQs. You know, I don't have to. If I only need another small run of that, sweet, let's do it.
And that is the beauty of producing in Bali.
Absolutely.
Is that you can do it on a much
smaller scale, especially when you are starting out as a small business. So don't be afraid to do it, because anything is possible. And, you know, I feel so many people have approached me over the years and, like, have these brilliant, amazing ideas. They've talked about it for so long, but they've never actually done it. And that's okay. But if you are going to, you know, if it's there, just do it. If it doesn't work, then so be it. You know. So give it a go.
Give it a
go. Get to Bali, spend some time. Get on a bike, wear a helmet. Away you go. You'll be right.
Get on that factory floor.
Yes. Sweat it out.
So what's the next for Lokoa? What can we expect? It's had quite the evolution from the leather bags.
I know. Honestly, like I said a bit earlier, I've learnt to not think too far ahead. Because that's when my mind just keeps going. But look, I'd love to. At the moment, I'm really building my e-commerce. You know, and that's great. So I'm reaching out to more customers online worldwide. You know, I still love all my stockists that I supply. But as for being here in Bali, I mean, maybe I will branch out to other areas within Bali.
Surely
I
a
would
story
love-
to Lokoa too,
Oh,
like
yeah.
everyone else.
Yeah, oh well, no. Good old Ricky from the cashew tree. She's a big Lokoa fan, so I do stock Lokoa in.
Oh, it's already in the cashew tree.
Yeah.
Good.
Ricky just got her last stop.
Good excuse to
Get
go.
up
Beautiful
to Bingen, go to the cashew tree.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, like who knows? Maybe you'll end up with a store in Ubud. Maybe I'll end up with a store in
Maybe you
Nusa
come over-
Lembongan.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So I would, you know, I think that I just need a break because I've also just finished building a 4-bedroom villa, and that's been a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So it's been a lot. Opening 2 stores, finishing an office, and finishing a 4-bedroom villa with 2 kids in tow on my own. But I've got amazing support here.
Need to just lock it in.
Yeah, I think I just need a little break.
we saw the gorgeous little photo of you with the kids wearing their mini
minis.
Lokoas.
Of course. Yeah, okay, so yes. Well, that is something exciting and upcoming. I am going to do a little Lokoa Littles range, I've decided.
Amazing.
I get so many requests, and it's all about mamas and their minis and, you know, but it's fun. It's fun because you don't necessarily find much here. Do you remember years ago, Cooke Kids? Do you remember Cooke Kids, that brand?
No.
It was literally at the end of the Jalan
Coote strip.
Before you turn right to go onto the Matahari strip.
Yep.
It was a really popular brand. Well, anyway, there's nothing like that anymore.
No,
you know?
there
It was
isn't.
just this little local Balinese made, but she made such an amazing brand. And my brother, who's actually getting married next week, he's mixed Indonesian, and he was decked head to toe in Coote Kids, and I was always like, oh my God, I want to do a kids brand. And then all these years later, I just kind of never did.
Yep.
But now that I've got my own brand, and I sampled a few like pieces for my little ones, and I don't know, I just took a couple of photos. I posted something the other day and everyone's gone wild for it. So I'm like, okay, coming soon.
Maybe strategically a good way to use your offcuts.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Because, I really do. All my offcuts, I do scrunchies and all kinds of little totes and stuff. So I make sure that...
Sarongs?
Yes,
Love a
sarongs.
sarong.
Yes, got the old sarongs.
Yeah.
But I make sure that I don't waste anything.
Yeah,
you know?
because
it's
you
really
don't want
important.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, just why not? So so I'm in the process of designing the little kids range. Nothing massive because I know how out of hand I can get. Like, when do I stop? And then so I'll just do a couple little key pieces and then see how it goes. But
Oh, that's exciting. Well, you heard it here first.
yeah, so I'll make sure I get it
Lokoa
out there
Littles?
before summer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
Lokoa Littles.
Lokoa Littles. All right, I'm getting the boys decked out.
Yep. We'll get a little photo shoot together.
Yes. Might have to do some Christmas colours.
Yes.
Cute.
Yeah.
Do the family range.
Yeah, I know. Well, I did do pajamas as well.
Oh.
Yeah, I did
cute.
Lokoa pajamas. Probably 2 collections ago. But I feel it just kind of got lost in the mix of all my things. So then I kind of just went, let's just put it aside.
Yeah.
But I always kind of do a little injection for summer because I know I love getting pajamas for Christmas.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too.
And then when your little ones match, like, cool.
Yeah, that's really cute.
Yeah, cute.
Yeah, definitely let us know when the pajamas
Yeah.
when the
I
pajamas
will.
are. Well, thank you so much for sharing your
Thanks
story. It's
for
really
having me.
inspirational
Thank
and
you.
we obviously love your
Yeah, thank you so much. You
love
girls
your
look
brand.
so gorgeous. I love it. Here we are.
I've just
Look at
been
it.
wearing this when I was sailing last week through the Komodo
Stop
National
it.
Park, and we were on this really beautiful yacht, and I was
Oh,
wearing
it's
my
just the
Lokoa.
perfect Bali
Oh,
attire.
perfect for Bali. Yeah. Like we're in the rayon pieces now, but then there's the linen pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tulum
I
top
love
and Kokoda.
the
Love.
Tulum.
I've done
And-
about
yeah.
4 of
Yeah,
those.
see,
Love
that's
them.
the thing. It's just something you
My
buy
black
one, you
one
need
I
to buy
wear
more.
all the time.
Yeah.
One
But
for
I
every
know.
day of the week.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just lucky I'm a brand that's created that, you know,
Yeah.
that people need one, they need more. They get one, they need
Yes.
more,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And they soften up after every wash, you know?
Yes.
So-
And
Yeah.
they're just so good for throwing over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can dress them up and down.
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
little Miss Holly Job. She's always looking smashing in her Lokoa sets.
Actually, I wore my black one all tied up for my. We had a party on the weekend,
cute.
and I tied
Yeah,
it all
yep,
up. Like the
like
yeah,
that.
they're very versatile.
They're versatile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very versatile. We love that.
Amazing. Well, so we end every episode with
Pressure.
Oh.
your best Bali tip. So it can be anything from business to life to what would you advise people coming to Bali for the first time? Anything?
Any tip about Bali?
Okay. I'm going to say tip. Don't be scared to tip.
Oh,
Do you know?
Give a tip because a little tip can go a long way.
Yeah.
Tip your local laundry lady.
Yeah.
Tip,
Tip
the guy you've just put Benson in your scooter. Give a little tip can go such a long way. I think that's important.
Our very first guest
Yeah.
was Lydia.
Yes.
And her tip was to tip.
Yes. I don't know. That just was the first thing that's come to mind because
Yeah.
I know, I've had to have a think about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what could it be? I mean, I've got all these random things going on, but I think that's a great tip.
Yeah.
Leave a tip.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be,
Big.
big or whatever, but like a small 10,000 rupiah tip can go
Yeah.
such a long way and,
And be such a nice
do
gesture.
good, feel good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get good.
Yes.
That's how I like to
And
look at it.
dress
And
good.
dress good.
No better way to wrap it up.
That's it.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Brie.
Thank you. Thanks, ladies. It's been fun.
What a ball of energy Brie is. Loved that. Loved hearing her story.
Yeah, I think it's reflected in her clothes, and her energy and her vibe and her creativity is exactly what the brand is.
Yeah, and if you haven't jumped on and checked out her range yet, you must. I mean, it's super popular with all of us here in Bali. We're always turning up wearing Lokoa The Label.
And she's also just given us a little sneak peek of her new range that's about to come out. So
yes.
keep an eye out
Keep an
for
eye.
that. 'Cause
Some
it's very
great
cool.
new prints coming through for the end of the year. But hopefully, if you've been thinking even about having your own little brand, that's given you some inspiration and some ideas into what that journey may look like for you.
Yes, and as always, check out the show notes for all the links to all the brands and everything we've been talking about today, as well as our socials for who's going to be up next.
Yes, and subscribe to us on YouTube. We need some more subscribers.
Yes, please.
No,
Not
definitely
that
go on.
desperate, are
We're
we?
not that desperate, but we would like some more just for vanity reasons.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thanks everyone. Until next time.
Bye.